Hola, Colegio Maya y los escuelas respetados. Mi nombre es Zmuda y yo co-creado esta charla TED con mi mamá. Estamos tan contentos de que usted está mirando y reflexionando sobre las ideas de aprendizaje personalizado. Sin más preámbulos, mi mamá, Alison Zmuda.
Thank you so much, Kuda, for introducing me. And thank you, Jeff, for giving me the opportunity to speak with your staff and share a little bit more about personalized learning. This is not another initiative on top of already a list of important things to do. In fact, one of your big, hairy, audacious goals is that by June 2018, all students in grades 6 through 12 will have a personal learning plan consistent with your mission, vision, learner profile, and foundation documents. To help you with your goal, I want to spend a little bit of time talking with you about what personalized learning is and how you can think about some key design elements to facilitate your journey. I use space deliberately here. Space suggests the obvious, slowing down and taking time, a precious resource I know, to do the work. But space also is about moving from the shallow waters of superficial answers to engage in deep thinking, spending time in the prefrontal cortex where a student can seek patterns, form judgments, make predictions. Teachers are the caretakers of the student's brain development at the most critical time, ages 8 to 18. And the more learners apply what they are learning through personal and real-world connections, the stronger the neural pathways become. Other spaces also can include physical space, sprawling out, going to a space where the resources are readily available, or moving. Emotional space is both how you feel about what you're doing, as well as how you're supported by those who are around you. From a typical student's point of view, schooling is comprised of a set of experiences or hurdles they have to jump over until the unit or the exam or the year is over. A typical student tolerates or survives the curricular experience that is out of sync with complex problems, challenges, and ideas that are happening personally, locally, and globally. This is in stark contrast to what our students really need. Let's get a student's voice into this. At the age of 13, Logan LaPlante delivered a TED Talk to describe the idea of hack schooling, his homeschooling journey, where he grows a network of friends and family and community organizations that are committed to his vision, optimizing health, happiness, and creativity. This TED Talk has been viewed over 2.5 million times, and this particular excerpt describes from Logan's point of view of what a balanced learning environment should be.
The science of being happy and healthy. It really comes down to practicing these 8 things. Exercise, diet, nutrition, time in nature, contribution, service to others, relationships, recreation, relaxation and stress management, and religious or spiritual involvement. Yes, got that one. So these 8 things come from Dr. Roger Walsh. He calls them therapeutic lifestyle changes, or TLCs for short. He's a scientist that studies how to be happy and healthy. In researching this talk, I got a chance to ask him a few questions like, do you think that our schools today are making these 8 TLCs a priority? His response was no surprise. It was essentially no. But he did say that many people do try to get this kind of education outside of the traditional arena, through reading and practices such as meditation or yoga. But what I thought was his best response was that much of education is oriented, for better or worse, towards making a living rather than making a life.
While Logan concluded that most schools do not honor the 8 TLCs, your graduate profile indicates otherwise. You do include predictable and important academic skills, such as competence in the skills of reading, writing, listening, and speaking, in both English and Spanish, quantitative scientific and technological literacy, and the ability to find and access information efficiently and effectively. But you also make a clear commitment to other areas of learning, such as the capacity to understand and value the personal rewards of community service, and demonstrating an active desire to learn, reflect, and understand the world.
Please take a moment and read the definition of personalized learning on the screen.
What words or phrases pop out? For me, I want to call attention to 3 specific phrases. First is a progressively student-driven model. This means that students have the opportunity to engage in questioning and problem posing. They move away from receivers of content and become activators of their own learning, co-creators of the learning design, and connected change agents. Second, take a look at deeply engage. We want students to deeply engage right from the start, excavating the roots of the problem, collecting and sifting through background knowledge, piecing together snippets of information and ideas to begin to form a coherent explanation, creation, or solution. And finally, look at meaningful, authentic, and rigorous challenges. Over a century ago, John Dewey promoted the idea of building on students' interests and incorporating outside experiences to meet students' needs. Dewey, as well as other progressive education leaders, championed a model of schooling tailored to students' needs, interests, and abilities, one that would promote the independence and dependability and enhance students' social skills and sense of responsibility to others. Personalized learning is grounded in these progressive ideals, but also incorporates timeless ones as well. From Aristotle, what we have to learn to do, we learn by doing. From Sir Ken Robinson, human flourishing is not a mechanical process, it's an organic one. And you cannot predict the outcome of human development. All you can do, like a farmer, is to create the conditions under which they will flourish. And finally, Seth Godin, learning is not done to you. Learning is something you choose to do. Consistent with the quotes that we just talked through, and neuroscience, and classroom observation and self-reflection, consider these learning principles to be foundational to any design and for any learner. We can think about it in 2 pieces, the what and the how. The what. What they learn is personally meaningful. They feel a need to learn it. What they learn is challenging and they accept the challenge. And what they learn is appropriate for their developmental level. Now let's move to the how. They learn in their own way and have some degree of choice and control. They use what they already know as they construct new knowledge. They have opportunities for social interaction. They get helpful feedback and they acquire new strategies. Take a moment to orient yourself to the chart. What is the role of a teacher in the personalized learning environment? It's about the art of assisting discovery, broadening or exploring topics, ideas, issues, and text with which students have limited familiarity. In fact, that's what we typically do as educators most of the time. But we do so that the students can have a turn to explore, so that they have a turn to co-create or independently design something they want to chase after. And we support them in their endeavors. Compare that to individualization. Think about Khan Academy, an adaptive computer program, or a traditional work packet. The problems, challenges, and assignments are fixed, but students can work at their own pace and sometimes in their own order. The teacher's job here is to monitor progress and to offer assistance when needed. And finally, let's look at differentiation. Differentiation is a viable stepping stone on the road to personalized learning. However, the teacher is in control over the design of choice. The teacher decides what's comfortable based on an existing knowledge base, time management, and scoring tools. I am incredibly grateful that many of you found the ideas in my most recent book worthy of a follow-up conversation or 2. In the text, Greg, Diane, and I delineate 12 key elements for personalized learning. I want to spend some time and attention to focus on the following 7: task, audience, feedback, evaluation, process, environment, and demonstration of learning. The first design element is task design, the ability to identify and understand a problem or challenge that is worth perseverating on. This is in stark contrast to the culture of the right answer, where students believe that if they can follow the procedure, or click on the first link that the search engine generates, or summarize the summary of a full-length text, that's all that is expected of them to fulfill the assignment. So in this space, task is about having students unearth the challenge and then pursue it. The second design element is audience. Audience requires a shift from typical practice, teacher as the sole audience. Instead, in a personalized learning space, students are engaging with authentic audiences, not only to demonstrate learning, but also to add value through contribution. Creation that engages an authentic audience motivates students to invest themselves in the work, because what they do has a tangible impact on others. Students feel useful and valuable because their work matters. Powerful feedback is regular, student-friendly, and action-oriented. Regular means ongoing or consistent loops to clarify the effect of the student action. Based on that analysis, the student is prepared to take another action. Student-friendly is the accessibility of language and clarity of the descriptors used. Whether it is a score point on a rubric or an oral comment, students need to be clear on where they are in the relation to mastery or quality so that they can determine what to do next. That leads to the final part, action-oriented. Students need to determine how to proceed. The next design element is evaluation, how we score student performance. In a personalized learning space, grading is not something done to the students. It is an informed judgment that the student has an active role in, a collaborative analysis of the work measured against a set of criteria. The next design element is process. Process is about the control or management of the learning. Is it tailored solely based on a curricular pacing guide? Or is there space for students to tailor where they are learning, how they're learning it, and how they're demonstrating their learning? Ideally, in a personalized learning environment, learning sequence and pace are developed based on student interest and need, as well as flexible based on an assessment of progress. This calls for a shift in how we support our students. We support them by being a learning partner, a mentor, and a coach, rather than a lecturer, a manager, and a supervisor. Environment describes where the learning takes place. As you can see on the slide, the world is the classroom. The environment shifts based on learning need, access to audience and experience, and access to resources. Personalized learning tears down the walls that separate the school world and the real world to create a unified learning experience grounded in problems, challenges, and ideas. Field trips, guest speakers, and community service are no longer add-ons. Information, ideas, action, and feedback gained from these experiences bolster the significance of the task and opportunity for students to see impact. The final element is demonstration of learning, the use of multifaceted assessments to constitute evidence of learning. The senior portfolio at Colegio Maya is a powerful example. The students are charged with collecting evidence of their graduate profile based on their schooling. They need to select from their range of academic and co-curricular artifacts and explain how this is a powerful example of their ability to, for example, exhibit awareness and practice sensitivity to environmental preservation, or express herself or himself creatively and respond with sensitivity to the creative works of others. But this is not just a senior year moment. Students should have a wealth of experiences to choose from because it is the heartbeat of your school campus. These 16 statements are or should be a focal part of the curriculum in every grade level and subject area. These statements are as powerful for students to examine and present on in their senior year as it is to have students pursue one and as an independent study, or lead a parent and teacher conference to monitor current achievement and set goals. These learning principles, inspired by the what and the how, were essential in the development of the learning principles that you're about to see. Reimagining what learning can look like starts with an examination of what is timeless in education, as a researcher, a learner, a parent, and an educator. Reimagining what learning can look like starts with getting off the treadmill of what school has become, a collection of familiar habits, practices, and policies, and examining why school with fresh eyes. Reimagining what learning can look like starts with hearing the students share ideas about their hopes and anxieties, aspirations, and realities.
Hi, I'm Zoe, and I'm 10. I'm also known as Allison Zmuda's daughter, and I will be presenting the next clip. Born in an underserved part of downtown Chicago, Natalie and her 5 siblings had to survive on her mother's humble teacher salary, moving from city to city to find work. No stranger to adversity, Natalie was determined to make something great out of her life. At 17, Natalie saw the documentary Invisible Children, The Rough Cut, a film exposing Africa's longest-running war. She asked, "What can I do as a 17-year-old to end the plight of the Ugandan child soldiers?" Compelled by the story, she worked with the Invisible Children to lead an international campaign for the project, an event in 100 cities worldwide called The Rescue. Through her determination, tens of thousands of people came out to the event, sleeping in the streets for up to 6 days in order to raise the profile of this war. Her contribution, along with thousands of anonymous extraordinaries, led to the passage of a congressional bill which was signed into law in 2010. Take a listen to a short clip from her TED Talk, viewed 400,000 times to date.
And none of us interns got to be there. We didn't get to be there in this moment. Our founders were there. They're the guys cheesing in the background. But that moment right there is what made all of it worth it. It's what 100,000 anonymous extraordinaries worked for so hard to make that happen. You know, the Oprah moments, they prove that the supposedly impossible can be done. They inspire us. They boost our confidence. But the moment isn't a movement. Even a lot of those moments strung together don't fuel a movement. What fuels a movement are the anonymous extraordinaries behind it. You know, for me, what kept me pushing on through the rescue was the thought of those child soldiers. It became personal. I was able to go to Africa at one point. I met these incredible people. I have friends that have been living in this conflict their entire life, and it was personal to me. But that doesn't have to be what drives you. You know, you may want to be the next Shepard Fairey, or the next J.K. Rowling, or the next whoever. It doesn't matter, but whatever you want, chase after it with everything that you have. Not because of the fame or the fortune, but solely because that's what you believe in, because that's what makes your heart sing. That's what your dance is. That's what is going to define our generation, when we start chasing and fighting after the things that we love and that we want to.
So, based on this conversation, what can you do now? One step built into your agenda is the opportunity to describe the emerging needs of the 21st century learner and the emerging partnership between teacher and student. This is a great place to start, and perhaps use the handout I sent along with you to help guide this process. Second, use the key elements in the related continuum in Learning Personalized on pages 16 to 18 to consider where you can start moving to the right of the continuum to open up more opportunities for students to create, to develop, and evaluate their learning experiences. And finally, check out learningpersonalized.com for resources and ideas that I've created and continue to curate to inspire kids, educators, and parents. So this is our first video that we co-created together, the three of us. Mm-hmm. Yes? So what were the challenges that we faced over the way?
Messing up.
Yeah, messing up. Yeah, well, that's one of the challenges. You know, sometimes you look funny on camera. Or at least I look funny on camera.
Speaking, a few elephants.
That's right. So speaking, it's tough to not lose your place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes when you stumble, you have to start all over again.
True.
Fair enough.
Tastes like peanut butter.
And part of the challenge too is we found, especially Kuda and I, that sometimes the deadline got the better of us. So we tried to break it into chunks to figure out how to get the ball rolling and how to keep the ball rolling.
But we struggled with that. Just do it like a Band-Aid. Try to do it all in one shot. Just to rip it off.
Well, I think another part of the challenge is that sometimes the pressure made Mom a little grumpy.
No, never. She was, no, not grumpy at all.
And finally, I think one of the neat things about this is because we had 3 people in this process, right?
Yeah.
Somebody was behind the camera and was always looking to see what we could do to make it better.
Yeah, I got my eye on you.
That's right. And it was cool that Jeff gave you feedback on your Spanish as well.
Yeah, yo habla buena español.
So thanks so much for
Buena,
watching our...
buena.
That's right. So thank you so much for hanging out and watching our video, and I'm going to turn it over to Kuda to do the closing.
Yes, thank
Today.
you. Okay. Gracias de nuevo por ver y esperamos que disfrutas el resto de su conferencia.